way, God, lead the way. I want to live in such a holy place, such a holy place. You are blessed peace, blessed peace is all that you are. You are blessed peace, God, blessed peace is all that you are. Show the way, God, show the way. I want to live in such a state of grace. Lead the way, God, lead the way. I want to live in such a holy place, such a holy place. You are deepest joy, deepest joy is all that you are. You are deepest joy, God, deepest joy is all that you are. Show the way, God, show the way. I want to live in such a state of grace. Lead the way, God, lead the way. I want to live in such a holy place. Show the way, God, show the way. I want to live in such a state of grace. Lead the way, God, lead the way. I want to live in such a holy place. Show the way, God, show the way. I want to live in such a state of grace. Lead the way, God, lead the way. I want to live in such a holy place. Show the way, God, show the way. I want to live in such a state of grace. Lead the way, God, lead the way. I want to live in such a holy place, such a holy place. You are sacred love, sacred love is all that you are. You are sacred love, God, sacred love is all that you are. Sacred love is all that you are. Sacred love is all that you are.
She uses that hymn to open this really.
Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in. Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in to the deepest kind of love, to the sweetest kind of life. Get ready, get ready, my soul. Everything I've lost or won, everything I've ever dreamed has brought me here to the present moment, here to a new beginning here, and I'm seeing life so clearly now. Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in. Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in to the deepest kind of love, to the sweetest kind of life. Get ready, get ready, my soul. 'Cause here I go, deeper, deeper, deeper than I've ever been before. Here I go, closer, closer, closer to my sacred source. Here I go, deeper, deeper, deeper than I've ever been before. Here I go, closer, closer, closer to my sacred source. Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in. Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in to the deepest kind of love, to the sweetest kind of life. Get ready, get ready, my soul. Get ready, my soul. Love is my decision. It's up to me to give of my heart. Love is my decision. No one else can tell me to start. And once I decide to change my mind, God will show me how. Love is my decision. My decision, right here and now. Love is my decision. It's up to me right here and now. Love is my decision. It's up to me to dance down the road. Love is my decision. No one else can lighten my load. And once I decide to change my mind, God will show me how. Love is my decision right here and now. Love is my decision. It's up to me to dance down the road. Love is my decision. No one else can lighten my load. And once I decide to change my mind, God will show me how. Love is my decision right here and now. My decision right here and I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. Oh, yeah. All right. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just what I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just what I'm supposed to be. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here.
So we're going to do our welcome as a call and response. So if you could repeat after me and find a fun face in the room, say, welcome to unity. Welcome to unity. Where love is felt. Truth is taught. Lives are transformed. And all is well. As we express the Christ within. All right, everybody, welcome to Unity. We're so excited to have Kathy back in the mix. So we're going to pass the mic to Kathy for our opening song.
You know, what's one that we do a lot, and a lot of people know it. My soul is welcome here by the ever amazing and wonderful Daniel Namod, and I got to spend some time with Daniel at the Posse Festival back in September, and I have to tell you, he's just an amazing person. He gave a workshop on how to make an impact with your music, and a lot of it had to do with playing in church and being knowing that your purpose there is to be of service. You're of service. We musicians and everyone really who's involved is of service to the service and to the minister and what they're going to say, and that's what it should all be about. And Daniel, if you've ever heard him, I'm sure many of you have heard him on record, but if you've ever seen him live, it's something to behold. And he also said, "I never phone it in." And if you've seen him live, you know what he's talking about. So let's stand up, and don't we have some music somewhere, some instruments somewhere?
They're over here.
Oh, okay. So if anybody wants to play some tambourine or some drum or some maraca, whatever floats your boat. I'm in the right place at the right time. Very repetitive and easy. I'm in the right place at the right time, just where I'm supposed to be. Again, I'm in the right place at the right time, just where I'm supposed to be. Now turn to your neighbor and say, "You're in the right place. You're in the right place at the right time. You're just where you're supposed to be. You're in the right place at the right time, just where you're supposed to be. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here." So where are we? We're all in the right place, right? We're in the right place at the right time, just where we're supposed to be. We're in the right place at the right time, just where we're supposed to be. Again, we're in the right place at the right time, just where we're supposed to be. We're in the right place at the right time, just where we're supposed to be. Oh, our souls are welcome here. Oh, our souls are welcome here. We are getting the message loud and clear. Our souls are welcome here. Now we're going to do like a recap. And we'll say, our souls are welcome here. Our souls are welcome here. Our souls are welcome here. Your soul is welcome here. Your soul is welcome here. My 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 soul is welcome here.
All right, thank you, Kathy. I want everybody to hold on to your instruments because I'm positive at some point we'll be able to use them, even if it's just a children's song. How about that? We're going to liven it up for the kids. I think we have one with us, Resin. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Unity of Gainesville. I hope you know that truth is taught, love is felt, and all is well here with us. What I want to do is I want to pass the mic straight to LUT Carla because we have an announcement about the prosperity class. Is that right?
We must. Yes. I guess we do. And because you said we do. So. We are not going to have the prosperity class this year. It's just getting too close to all the holiday things, and people are, not being able to attend everything. And so we're going to start it off the first part of January, and I think that's a good time of the year to get a good, like a kickstart. with prosperity. Okay?
Thank you, Carla. I think that's great. And I also got to say that it was the prosperity class that transformed, I want to say, Sally and I's complete journey, right? And you say it often in the announcements about the prosperity class that it's not just about money, but for many of us, that is the gateway to get into the room. And so Sally and I were like, okay, let's get our finances together. We're going to do this. And in the first session, it was like, hey, this has nothing to do with money. Like, it's like, we were like, okay, we'll wait for the class to be over and then we'll figure it out. But we ended up staying through the whole, I think it was 7 or 8 week journey. And it was that experience, reading about Charles Fillmore, it was about the experience of expansion and knowing that we invite all that we desire by simply transforming how we speak about it, right? And so if we say, oh, I'm so tired, we are creating, we're co-creators. We're creating that tiredness. And so if we say, oh, money is tight, we were creating the fact that money was tight. And so it is a mind trip at first, and eventually it becomes, you can see the evidence of it, and so it becomes easier and easier. I liken it to getting results with any, bit of a regimen. So say you say, all right, I'm gonna try to walk every day, and you don't see results until you consistently do it. And then eventually, once you see those results, it becomes easier and easier. What I wanna do is I want to acknowledge everybody who is making this service possible. So we have love, and we have effort, and we have a lot of preparation that goes into making our services possible. And so I want to acknowledge Ann Young, who is our prayer chaplain. We got Rupali Robinson, who is our board member on duty. We got Gabe and the crew back there holding it down as always. And we have family and friends who are joining us on Zoom. So we love you, we see you, we thank you. And also anybody who's going to be watching this later on YouTube. And then last but definitely not least, we have Kathy on the ones and twos. So you say ones and twos for DJs, right? So Kathy's our DJ today on the piano. And then lastly, and definitely not least, we have our very own LUT Carla Palmer, who has been, I gotta say, often as much as possible. It was Carla's talk that got us in the room, okay? So if y'all like what I'm doing, say shout out to Carla. So what I wanna do is I wanna shift gears and let's have our opening prayer to get us in the energy and spirit of today.
All right, energy of spirit. That energy of spirit's like about 4 octaves way up here in our environment here. And so let's just take a nice deep breath in and allow that air to come back out of through this little hole and that you make with your lips, so that it's coming out very slowly. Notice how the body begins to relax when you do that. Notice how we open our hearts. Notice things around you as you breathe. And as you notice these things, we give thanks. We give thanks for the chi in the front yard of our church. It's been cleaned so that the energy is flowing, that we can feel as we walk up the sidewalk into this building. The chi is free. And so we are grateful. And we are grateful for being here, grateful for ourselves who got us here, in deepest gratitude. And our theme for today is about spiritual transformation that we call alchemy. So we bring that in and we send out this glad heart full of blessings to all over Gainesville, all over the state, all over the country, these blessings and these feelings of gratitude all around our planet, Gaia, our mother, Gaia, our Mother Earth. We are all children of the Mother, and therefore we are brothers and sisters. We are devoted to one another as we care for one another. And for this we are eternally grateful. And so it is. Amen.
Amen. As we prepare for our daily word, I want to acknowledge all of our loved ones who are going through any type of ailment or condition, legal actions or anything in the spirit of the prayer. I'm thinking specifically of Bonnie. So we want to send our healing energies to her and anybody else that is in our prayer box, and that we just want to release energy of love and healing. And we also acknowledge that each of us are on our path of unfoldment, which looks differently. So whatever issues we are all having, we acknowledge it and we bless it in the spirit of that prayer that Carla just did. So if we can do a special appearance, we have the baby who just turned 2 months yesterday, and Sally. They're going to do our daily word, and our daily word is joy.
Woo. Joy. I delight in simple joys. Joy is what, joy is, it has been said, comes much more from wanting what we have than from having what we want. Reflecting on this thought, I embrace the simple joys that this day offers. I enjoy my morning coffee or tea, savoring its flavor and fragrance. Walking through my neighborhood, I greet friends, smile at people I haven't met yet, and enjoy the fresh air. I find satisfaction in taking care of my home, working at my job, or helping a friend. Even if I am not with them today, I feel joy as I think of my connection with the people I care most about. I know joy whenever I look for possibilities rather than focusing on problems. My greatest joy is my awareness that whatever I am, whatever I'm doing, God is always with me. The verse is, you show me the path of life. In the presence there is fullness of joy. In your right hand are pleasures for forevermore. Psalm 16:11. And the word of the day is joy.
Thank you, Sally. Thank you, Kenya. So the affirmation for the day is, I delight in simple joys. Let's say that. I delight in simple joys. Now, let's say it like we mean it, right? So now y'all got it. I delight in simple joys. Now, let's say it like we mean it. Here we go. Call and response. I delight in simple joys. Let's reflect. I delight. What's your simple joy, Carla?
I actually had simple joy today when I walked up the sidewalk and I felt the movement of the energy in our front yard, honestly.
That's great. So let's reflect on a simple joy and say it to somebody next to you. Simple joy, somebody next to you. That's right. Kathy, simple joy?
Walking in the neighborhood.
All right, I'm down with that.
That's what he said.
My simple joy this morning was I was clipping my fingernails out the window, okay, at the stoplight. And I said, Sally, does this drive you crazy? And so she responds with the story of a movie she saw and how the guy was on a date, and the date she was just, ordering all, like hundreds of dollars of food. She was belching at the table, and he said, you're my girl. And so she said, yeah, I see you do that stuff, and that's my partner. I'm okay. And so my simple joy is being able to clip my fingernails out the window and on the drive to Unity. Okay, now y'all know a little bit more about me. Okay, Kathy, on to you, please.
Okay, so this song is by Sue K. Riley, and Sue and Richard McDeechy are the ones who host the Posse Music Festival and Awards every year and have made so many things happen in the world of positive music. It's just amazing. Along with a guy named Scott Johnson, who lives in Boulder, Colorado, and started World Singing Day, where people join in singing all over the world. And that was yesterday. But this one is called The Thinker. I am the thinker who thinks the thoughts that changes things that shape my life. I am the thinker who thinks the thought I have the power to change my life. I am the thinker who thinks the thoughts that changes things that shape my life. I am the thinker who thinks the thought I have the power to change my life. If you ask me, who am I am wisdom, I am light. I am more than meets the eye. I cannot be defined. I am the thinker who thinks the thoughts, shapes the things that shape my life. I am the thinker who thinks the thought I have the power to change my life. Again, I am the thinker who thinks the thoughts that changes things that shape my life. I am the thinker who thinks the thought I have the power to change my life. If you ask me, what am I am beauty, I am joy. I am more than meets the eye. I cannot be defined. I am the thinker who thinks the thought changes things that shape my life. I am the thinker who thinks the thought I have the power to change my life. I am the thinker who thinks the thought changes things that shape my life. I am the thinker who thinks the thought I have the power to change my life. Now, if you feel like playing your instrument, go ahead. I can choose to be the light that brightens someone's darkest night. I am more than meets the eye. I cannot be defined. You probably know the chorus by now. I am the thinker who thinks the thought that changes things that shape my life. I am the thinker who thinks the thought I have the power to change my life. I am the thinker who thinks the thought that changes things that shape my life. I am the thinker who thinks the thought I have the power to change my life. I have the power to change my life. I have the power to change my life. Great.
Go ahead.
Excitement about finding the joys, I forgot to ask if we had anybody joining us for the very first time here at Unity this morning. Anybody for the very first time?
Okay.
Anybody for the second time? Third time? Oh, second time. Okay.
Thank you.
We see you. We love you. Welcome back. All right.
We get excited up here, you know. It's just like this, all this energy. Before I get started, I just wanted to have a little commercial here. The book group that I host on Thursday evenings from 7 to 8:30 is starting a new book, not this Thursday, but next Thursday. And I can't remember the date of it, but if you know what date this coming Thursday is, then I can add 7 to it, and I can give. 27. It's what? 27. 27th. Okay, so we're going to start this book. Thank you. It's called Order of the Sacred Earth, Gaia. And it's a collection of essays, and the major one is from Matthew Fox. So we're going to be reading those, and I think it's going to be really fantastic because it's the first time we've done a book like this that's based on a subject, but it's not like something you'd read from cover to cover. So people are going to be coming in to the group with their favorite essay, and we're going to be discussing that and reading it and then discussing it and things. It's going to be fun, and it's going to be different. I like different. Okay, that's done. The commercials are over. And the theme of the month, because of the hurricane and different things, I usually start off the theme of the month the first Sunday. We didn't get to do that this year. So for this month, it's spiritual transformation. And the affirmation is, I allow the Christ within to transform me as I remember I am holy. That's a long affirmation. It says a lot, though. So I allow the Christ within, let's say that, to transform me as I remember I am holy. Yeah. And so my title is Spiritual Alchemy. I get these titles like a couple weeks in advance, and then as I work on it all week, before I give the talk, I go, why did I think of that? Spiritual alchemy is kind of woo-woo. But anyway, that's what it is. That's what went out to press, and so that's what we've got. And so I started thinking about alchemy, and where did that come from? It came from the Middle East. People who knew about science and mathematics and how elements work together and things like that were thought of as being very special people, and so they thought that they were closer to God. They knew things, and if they had this knowledge or something, that they were somehow closer to God. There are even Bible verses about that, to learn and be closer to God. And so, and then they also, thousands of years ago, wrote in code so that a word could have several different meanings based on which letter was used to spell that word, or where that letter was, like in the first, second, third, or fourth letter of the alphabet or something like that. It was very technical. When they would write the Hebrews, when they would write their writings. Bye, Kenya. Good girl. Yeah. So all science and mathematics, even dancing, even singing, was thought of as a spiritual gift. So this whole spiritual thing, and then the sacred geometry. Have any of you heard of sacred geometry? And all of these were codes that they did for the glory of God. It was the way that they would express their love of God. So when it got along in time, after a couple hundred years, they thought that alchemy was like changing something physical. But really, it was all spiritual to begin with. It was changing ourselves. And so then you heard that expression, I can turn straw into gold or turn lead into gold. So that made me, in my research, go back to the periodic table. And I thought, which ones of the elements were closest to gold? And so that was, because I like to really get into it. and everything. And I used to teach chemistry, so on a university level. And so I thought, and if I were back in those times, they would have thought I was holy too, because I would know about chemistry and how things work that way. So that's how it all got started, and then it morphed into different things for the physical. So we're talking about spiritual, of course, because we're here. I love the way that you had us all do the call and response, because the line in my talk is lives are transformed, right? And so that's the alchemy that we say, that we call upon as we open every service. We call upon alchemy, that mysterious way of how things are changed. Every spiritual practice, that every good news message is for this purpose, is alchemic transformation. So then then you may be saying, what? So I'm going to ask you a question. Why are you here if not to be transformed? You people on Zoom, why are you sitting there watching us if it's not for transformation? If you're not in it for spiritual transformation, then what is this for? So jokingly, I wrote in my notes, for power, wealth. Is that why you're here? Is it entertainment? For a social life, maybe meet other people of like minds? I'm going to move this a little bit. So we are in it for what we bring from the truth that lives inside us. That's what we're in it for. We bring our truth. What resonates in us? What lifts us up to be higher and wider dimensions of consciousness? Our consciousness changes. Jesus said, I go to prepare a place for you. He didn't mean I personally. The I am means consciousness. So our consciousness goes to prepare a place for us. We came here probably for peace of mind, free ourselves from some suffering we may be going through. The critical thoughts, the messages that we give ourselves in our heads that don't serve us, that don't really help us, do they? Spiritual alchemy. Artists know about this, don't they? Everybody that can create knows that something is made from nothing. Don't you, Kathy? Something is made from nothing when you write a song or play it. A wise person once said, what is not transformed will definitely be transmitted. If it's not transformed, it'll be transmitted. And that usually leaves a mess to be cleaned up, doesn't it? This brings me to a point where it just seems so important that I say this. But have you ever seen these paintings that are made of dogs playing poker? Have you ever seen that? I am here to tell you that it is impossible for dogs to play poker. Why? Why is it impossible for dogs to play poker? Because they have a tell. Right? What's their tell? They're sitting there with their hand, they got the cards in their paws, What's their tell? Their tail starts wagging, right? And so why they ever made paintings, expensive paintings of dogs all dressed up playing poker, It amazes me because dogs can definitely not play poker. Cats? Can cats? Oh, yeah. Have you ever looked into your eyes, into the eyes of your cat? They just stare right back at you. And so you think, what are they thinking of me right now? You know? So humans have a tell also. And the tell, see, this is getting us into so the tell is what didn't get transformed. It shows up in our personality, and in any spiritual practice, the person is urged to look at what hasn't been transformed. Everybody says that. Every religion, every philosophy says that. Those hurts and slights that never healed get transmitted out in a way from your personality. For example, you yell a lot because when you were little, nobody heard you. You didn't feel heard. Nobody let you talk. So now you yell, and you talk and talk and talk. Okay. So that's what I'm saying. That's your tell. Why doesn't anyone listen to what I say? Nobody listens to me, you know. Why do people ignore me? I'm thinking of the comedian Rodney Dangerfield. Do you remember him? You guys are kind of like near my age. What was his big thing? I get no respect. Nobody respects me, you know, that kind of thing. Well, that's his tell, isn't it? Because he probably felt disrespected as a child. So Reverend Betty has been teaching this quantum effect to several of you, and just anybody in here who's benefited, you know, from this course that she takes. And it's so useful for transforming those dark places, those dark, sharp edges in our consciousness, bringing us into spiritual understanding. This is so valuable. I wish she just had this course going all the time. You know, she probably doesn't have the time for it, but you know what I mean. It is something that we can do all the time. So let's get back to lives are transformed. Human transformation is an internal shift that brings us into alignment with our highest potential. That's what it is. It's like going to a spiritual chiropractor to be here. Alignment is at the heart of every major aspect of our lives. It affects how we see and relate in the world and how we understand our place in it. Mantras help us. They help us stay aligned. How many of you have a mantra? Okay, good. Helps us stay in line when we start drifting off into outer space kind of thing. This spiritual, and in what we do here at Unity is we just plant seeds. And like Ryan said, everybody is going to take away something different. Everybody is going to hear something different. So, and it's experienced. Transformation is experienced. You personally experience it. You don't transform by reading about it. Or somebody telling you, look, this is all you do, you do this. Psychologist Carl Jung talked often about transformation and the psychology of change. Oh, there's that word. Change. No, please, no. But change is inevitable. It's inevitable, the psychology of change. However, the change that Carl Jung described was about growing closer to the authentic self. We get closer to our real self, our natural self. There's a Buddhist prayer, may all beings awaken to the light of their own true nature. That's what that's about. Our true nature, becoming more aligned with the person that you want to become. And so that's what we're talking about today. It's not a secret that it's an inside job, right? So when is it too late to become the person you wanted to be? When's it too late? It's not. It's never too late. Never, never, ever, never. People that work in hospice have told me about the transformation that occurs there. You know, hours or minutes before death. A few years ago, I had a phone call with my then minister at a different church, and we were working together on some kind of a project. I really don't remember what we were discussing, you know, but something kind of fell through the cracks a little bit, and with one of the teams or whatever, and so he said something like, "Consciousness compels the outer act," and then went on to say something else. And I grabbed my pencil and I wrote it down. And then a week later I said, you know, that just filled me up when you said consciousness compels the outer act. And he says, I never said that. He said, I never heard of that. What are you talking about? I heard him and wrote it down. Consciousness compels the outer act. He was channeling to me. Little does he know, I'm going to write to him, I'm going to send him an email and say, guess what? I used that today. Consciousness compels the outer act. Now I've gone off and lost my place. Okay. And the outer act is the tell. That's how I'm getting this back to, you know, I can just see you going home saying, yeah, she talked about dogs playing poker today. Anyway. So I am the thinker who thinks the thoughts. I have the power to change my life. That's truth. Isn't that an affirmation? That's it. People always love to hear stories in sermons like this, right? Do you like to hear stories? And so people have always, even in Jesus' time. So what did Jesus? What do we call the stories that Jesus told? Parables. Okay, you know because I told you. So. For some reason, this week, the story of the prodigal son just would not leave my head. Have you ever had a song that won't leave your head? This was a story that wouldn't leave my head. Are you anybody familiar with that story of the prodigal son? Oh, good. Okay. So I'm going to start this though, because we're talking about tells and we're talking about consciousness compelling an outer act. We're going to start it with family dynamics. The family dynamics of the prodigal son, the hidden issues, the familiar there with what was going on. First of all, in those days, the firstborn son that was born was, as soon as he was able to walk and feed himself, he would go and live with his father and all the people all the men that were doing business there. And usually the business was either agriculture or fishing, something like that. And so the firstborn son would begin to be groomed to take over the family business. So he also had the right to boss his mother around. You do this, you do that. You know, the son knew from a very young age that he had all this authority. And it was sort of like the way they train people to become a king, you know, little kids and that. The second and the third and the fourth, you know, those sons don't really count that much in the family dynamic. And so they're mama's boys, Mama gets to keep her boys, her little ones. And so, but they were never allowed in the inner circle. They didn't inherit the farm. They didn't stay around very often to stay there because they were like second-class citizens in their own family. So that's the family dynamic of what it was like. So the story goes that the second son asked for his inheritance ahead of time. He said, "There's nothing for me here in the family business, so I would just like for you to give me my inheritance and I'm going to leave." And so he did. He went to a far away land. Now, in Bible code, a far away land means he went to a separate consciousness, a different kind of consciousness. And while he was in that different kind of consciousness of, we live in a college town, right? And so kids that are here are freshmen who have been, in their parents' home for 18 years are now, whoa, free. They're painting things on their bodies when they go to the football games, and and they are learning to drink and all kinds of things like that. So this guy did the same thing. He squandered his fortune. And then there was a famine. And a famine spiritually means a feeling of lack. So when you feel something of lack in your life, you're feeling a famine. Okay. So he spent all of his money on partying, and he didn't have any food to eat, and so he found somebody in the town who was a swineherd, and his job was to feed the pigs. But and so pigs, spiritually, metaphysically, means stinginess consciousness. And the stinginess consciousness of the guy that owned the pig farm wouldn't give this young man enough money to buy food, because he said, "You'll just eat what the pigs eat." And that's what he did for a long time. And that was like peelings and the husks and all that. So then, as the story goes, he came to himself. He came to himself. And what does that mean? It's like he had an epiphany, right? He had an epiphany. He had a realization and the realization was, the guys that are servants for my father have more to eat than I do. They have a roof over their head and they have clothing. I think I'm going to go back and ask my father if he'll hire me, just as a servant. He did not feel like he was worthy to be a son anymore because of all the things that he had done. Debauchery, all of that. The tells he had was he didn't feel worthy as a family member. That was his tell. And so somebody who doesn't feel worthy, you can see them sometimes the way they're wasting their own inheritance from spirit, right? So you can imagine this, that he could hardly believe his eyes when he finally, walked all the way back to the family estate, and he saw his father running to meet him, hugging him, kissing him on the neck, it says. And it also said that the father felt his son's presence. Have you ever felt the presence of somebody and you go to the door and they knock on the door? Have you ever, or something like that? Yeah. So as the story goes, the father gave him a new robe, new clothes, which mean new consciousness, and a ring, that and the symbol of that is taking power and dominion and eternal love. And he gave him new shoes. Shoes stand for understanding. So when you get a new pair of shoes. They're a little stiff sometimes or whatever, but you break them in, you get a new understanding. Think of that when you go buy shoes. I am giving myself a new spiritual understanding. Well, then the Father threw a party, and it was wonderful. They were dancing and eating and tears of joy all around. Mother was glad to have her baby boy back home and all of that. Everybody was celebrating except who? The big brother, the older brother, who had a tissy fit, right? He said, "Why are you doing all of this? I've been here holding down the fort. I've been here working while he's been out playing around. And now he comes to you and you treat him like royalty? How can you do this? How can you do this? What's up with that? I've been doing all this work." What kind of consciousness is that? That's that righteous indignation. Have you ever had that? Righteous indignation? After all I've done for you, that kind of thing. And we've had the other consciousness too. I want to go out, I want to play, I want to be free. We've had them both. We've experienced them. Yeah. So the two sons represented two different phases of consciousness. And so in closing, I want to give you some food for thought. So what are the takeaway messages for today about our own transformation? And so what did the young prodigal son learn? He realized he'd made a mistake, and he owned it. He owned it. He didn't say somebody made me do it, it was somebody else's fault. No, he said, I really screwed up. He realized his thinking had been wrong. So what do we do when we change our thinking? There's a word for that. Repent, rethink. And so he had repentance. And he knew that whatever you're thinking about is what your consciousness is focused on. And so he had to realign his thinking. He had to get in alignment. Spiritual chiropractor. And as for the older brother, he had to understand that pride and self-righteousness are the mistakes, which the moral nature, we all have a moral nature, we all know. But we've got to guard against thinking, that we are so prideful and so proud of the fact that we're moral. We have to remember that the meek shall inherit the earth. So Jesus ends it's in the chapter 15 of Luke, if you want to go home and read these. They're really interesting. And of course, I'm a Bible nerd, and I'm saying, yeah, they're really fascinating. And they are to me. And so at the end of these stories in chapter 15, Jesus says, I say unto you, there is joy in the presence of the angels of God over one person that repents. That is, changing their thoughts. One person changes it, and so it is. Amen. So now we're going to get ready for our meditation, where we take these ideas inside. And so I would like for you to just put both feet on the floor. I think I'm going to sit down when I do this, but for some reason, I like to do this. I like to be comfy. Okay. So as you get comfortable in your chair, go ahead and allow your arms and your hands to relax, your feet to relax. Imagine that you have luminous roots growing out the bottom of your feet, going down through the foundation of this room, down into Gaia, down into Mother Earth. Imagine the coolness of the earth and what that feels like. And you can say to yourself that now I am anchored. I am anchored in the love of the Mother. And as you breathe,
open my eyes that I may see glimpses of truth thou hast for me. Place in my hands the wonderful key that shall unclasp and set me free. Silently now I wait for thee, ready, my God, thy will to see. Open my eyes, illumine me. Spirit divine.
and as I breathe, one holy breath, feeling only the Christ within me, I create the reign of wholeness and oneness now. As I know that I am love, heaven and nature form a new creation. From oneness, I claim and know that each day has its spiritual substance and insight. I lack for nothing. I let go of the cords of mistakes and release the strands that I hold of another's guilt. Surface things have no power, and I claim my path with joy. Truly, I empower these statements. The I am that I am empowers these statements. They are the ground from which all my actions flow and grow. Seeds of the Holy Spirit are planted within me, and I allow them to flow and grow. I imagine myself being what I would really like to be. I imagine what this would look like, being the person I would like to be. I see that vision. I hold that vision. And I seal this time of meditation and prayer in trust and in faith. And so it is. Amen. And now feel free to open your eyes and move about a bit. And Ryan is back here keeping us on track.
Thank you so much, Carla. Hey, big boy. Yes. As we prepare for the children, we are going to take a moment to acknowledge the flow and that flow of giving. And so if we could take a moment and get whatever offertory that might be, if it's a spiritual offering, if it's a physical offering, a monetary offering, we want to place that offering over our heart. And we want to acknowledge that as we give, we are in the flow of abundance. And so we're going to say, divine love,
Divine love,
bless all that I have,
bless all that I have,
all that I give,
all that I give,
and all that I
all
receive. And so it is.
So it is.
And so we can place those offerings in that beautiful glass basket. My 3-year-old cannot wait to get in. So we all have
Singing the kids.
Oh, we're gonna welcome the kids. We all have our tambourines and we have our little shakers. Lead us off, Kathy.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine.
Are you scared? Well, today we talked about masks and costumes. And that masks, what we say is the mask is our personality aspect of our nature. And parts are often used to hide our spiritual nature. And we made a mask in the room, and on one side it has a smile, and you turn it upside down and it makes a frown, because we all wear different masks at different times. But you know what we found out? You can't ever hide from God. He knows who we are, no matter what mask we're wearing.
Thank you, Miss Gwen. Our way to get to church, we say, we're going to see Miss Gwen. We're going to Miss Gwen's house? Yes, we are. Okay, let's get ready. All right, hang tight, big boy. Okay, so we're going to, yes, you can. You hold it in a second. All right, here we go. We're going to rub our hands together. And we're going to say, all right, y'all, we will not have discipline in this church, not yet. Come here, big boy. We're going to say, children, we love you.
Love you.
We bless you.
We bless you.
We see the Christ presence within you.
See the Christ presence within you.
And we see you doing wondrous things.
We see you doing wondrous things.
Your favorite part, big boy?
We love you. We love you. We really, really love you. Mwah.
All right, let's circle up.
We'll circle up and do our peace song. And if you need it, it's in the hymn book on page 3. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God as creator, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. And the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Ooh.
Let's just hold in our consciousness and in that deep, deep knowing that indeed all is well. Using the breath to just center ourselves and send out healing prayer, healing love, healing vibration of wholeness. For we know that within each of us is that divine blueprint of perfection, and each of us can attain this state. For our full whole health is always available. Resting in this knowing, we are so grateful, and we hold specifically Ann Scruggs, Jackie Tatum, and Bonnie Kilgar in this moment, knowing that they have everything they need, that those that are with them, supporting them, are great service, and every hand that touches them is divinely inspired and capable. For this we do give thanks, and so it is.
You are sacred love, sacred love. You are sacred love, God.